Hi, welcome back to Young and Yielded. I'm Sylvie.
I'm Remy.
I'm Emily.
We have a special guest.
I'm Riley.
Hi, Riley.
You guys may recognize her. Perhaps.
You know.
You guys want to introduce what we're talking about today?
We're going to be talking about God's timing.
It's a very broad subject.
Yeah, it is
but
a really broad
there's many different things we can talk about.
Yeah.
Do you want to start us off, Riley?
God's timing is something that I hold very close to my heart. I feel like it's like the answer to so many prayers and anxiety and everything. It's just God's timing. It gives me so much peace to think about. And so I feel like it's like a way of saying that everything's in God's hands, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever you're asking like, why is this happening? When is this going to happen? Anything, it's all in God's timing. So it's like the answer to like some of our prayers and stuff. So,
Yeah.
I think we should start off with a question, which is, when have you recently had to just trust in His timing?
Okay. This is kind of a funny story. What happened last night, it's like not super serious, but it's just like one little thing that is an example. Basically, this Christmas season is hard for our family because we don't have a lot of money, so it's like hard to get gifts and a Christmas tree and everything, and Christmas trees are so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we didn't get a Christmas tree yet, and we were like, wow, Christmas is in only like 6 days and we still don't have a tree. So we randomly called our aunt, and also my mom's car isn't working, so like there's so many like obstacles around this. So she called my aunt, and my aunt was like, yeah, I can pick you guys up right now and we can go get a tree. So we're like, okay, cool. She picks us up, and when she comes to our door, she gets a notification that my grandpa's old friend is giving a Christmas tree away for free. And we're like, what the heck? So we drove into Vancouver and picked up this random Christmas tree, and it happened to be literally the perfect size for our house, the perfect everything. We're like, wow, what a blessing that was. And it was just in God's timing, because like that's such a random thing, but it was giving our family like stress and anxiety. Like, we don't have a Christmas tree, we don't have money, whatever. But we waited until like 6 days before Christmas, and God provided it for us.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a silly little example, but it's just, I don't know. It's like an example. If you just wait, God will show it to you, and He will provide. And it's all in His time.
That's so great. It's like so little. It's like such a little thing, like act of kindness, but it's like
Yeah.
it caused so much happiness.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything that you've recently had that is an example of God's timing in your life?
Okay, I'll go first since you're all looking at me. I was dealing with a bunch of like school stuff, and I thought it was like never gonna end. It was causing me so much stress, and I felt so down, deep in a rut. Like I felt like I'm never gonna get over this mountain. I'm just gonna sit here forever. I'm gonna rot here. Like that was my mindset, and I was at life group, and I was just feeling like I haven't heard from God. Like nothing's happening. I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know what else I can do. I can pray to Him. I just feel like He's not hearing me, or I'm not hearing Him. And I don't remember which what book we were reading, but He just reminded me that like He's protecting me, and it's like it's all gonna play out in the way that He wants it to. And then like a week or two later, it like everything at school ended, and it was amazing.
That's so amazing.
Like I'm still like I'm letting it play out still, but like it was just so amazing to feel like the relief that God still had my back. Like I'm gonna cry talking about it.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Do I go? I can go. I'll go. Mine's a little touchy. 3 months ago, my grandfather died, and it was really hard for me and my family, and it was like the funeral wasn't for a couple months afterwards, and it was just really hard, and we were all going through a lot, and it felt like to no avail we could get through this. It was just we were stuck in this rut of grief and like sort of like pain and of unknowing. Like it was just really hard, and it was like coming into the Christmas season, it was really hard because we had always done Christmas with him, and it was like Christmas was his absolute favorite thing. And so it like we were all really stuck in our grief. And then a couple of days ago, we just had like my family and I just kind of had a moment where we were just able to be like happy about Christmas, and just like we set up the tree that He used to always set up with us, and like we did all of His favorite things, listened to all of His favorite music, and it was just like the most perfect timing of just like, so we got to enjoy Christmas with even though he wasn't there, like we could still feel him and be there and
Yeah.
like have that moment. And so it was just like I was really worried that it was going to be like Christmas was going to be upsetting and it was going to be hard for everybody. And it was just like I said, 6 days before, and everything just kind of fell into place and everything started to make sense a little
Yeah.
bit. So it was really cool.
That's so good. I feel like a lot of the time when we talk about God's timing, it always comes after a season where we're struggling, because that's always when we're asking God, like, why, kind of. But I feel like it always comes in, like, good seasons, too. Like,
Mhm.
everything good is happening, and you're like, wow, this is really amazing. And it's all in God's timing, like, He knew this was going to come. And so I feel like when we're, like, put to the test, it's kind of like a test of our faith to know that God has a plan. He has
Mhm.
everything planned out. He knows everything about you. He knows everything about your life. Like, literally, He knows you inside and out. He literally made you. So it's like, it brings you such peace, and it's a test in your faith when you're going through struggles, like stuff with your grandpa or schoolwork and anxiety or anything. It's just like a test in your faith, and to just like take a deep breath and be like, okay, well, God has everything planned out. He has everything at the right time for me. So like nothing I can do right now is going to affect the time that He has for these things to come out in my life. So I just think that's like a good reminder.
Yeah, like Jesse said earlier, he said there's a difference between waiting patiently and waiting faithfully.
Yeah.
And like, because when you're waiting patiently, you're kind of just like, it's annoying. You're like stuck in this rut. When you're waiting faithfully, it's like you're excited. Like you know that it's you have to wait and you know it's going to take time, but you're excited for that. You're excited for the outcome because you know, even though it might be
Using your
hard,
Bible for a second.
that's fine. You know, it might be hard getting there. It's going to be like, it's going to be great when you get there.
Yeah.
And like waiting patiently, sometimes you just don't really know.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
And that's like such an important thing too, because
Yeah.
like when you're waiting patiently, it's also like you want to put things into your own hands and like do it yourself and like
Mhm.
figure it out yourself because you're so eager to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story that I just heard about today from Girls Gone Bible. Shout out to their podcast. I was listening to them today, and they're talking about the story about Abraham and his wife Sarah about their child. So basically, it's like I don't know like the entire story, but I know the gist of it is like God promised them that they would have a child together, but they're having trouble having a kid. But He promised them that a while ago, and then they were like, well, we could just make this happen on our own. So it's this crazy thing that they did, but they had Sarah go with their, I can't remember, he's like a maid or something. I don't know, someone else basically, and have a baby with him. Like, wait, this is right, Elijah? Abraham? Yeah. Anyways, have a baby with this other guy so that they would have a baby, which is a crazy thing, and it like screwed so much stuff up because that's like, God promised them that they would have a baby together, but they were too impatient and they just took it in their own hands. But then God still like came through with His promise, and at the age, I think she was at like 90 years old or something like that, or maybe even older, they had a child, and she was conceived with a child. And so it's just crazy, like you can try to take things within your own hand and stuff, but God's promise will never go away, and His timing
Yeah.
Yeah.
is always right. And like obviously 90 years old or older, whatever it was, is so old to be having a kid.
Not
And that's,
ideal.
like, you would never expect that. So probably by the time they're old, they're like, well, like God's promise never really came true. Like I don't know. Like
It just
this-
proves how great God is and how powerful He is.
Yeah, and it's all in His timing.
Emily, did you have a story that,
About trusting in His time
Yeah.
recently.
like recently, like something that you've gone through?
Just like knowing like that He's there and like I don't have to like talk to like other people about stuff, and just like knowing that I don't have to worry about like anything else because He's there, and I don't have to put my trust into other people because of that. And yep.
That's good.
Talking about, God's timing, it brought to my mind like Romans 8:18, which is kind of a popular verse. I think it's 8:18, but it says, "Consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." And I think that's also been something that's been on my heart lately. It's just like, it's so rejuvenating, and that like there's so much more and greater things to come. Like whatever we're going through, like even if we're in like a really good part in our life, there's so much more that's
Yeah.
like fruitful to come from Him.
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah, the Lord's love is always unfailing and always great. And I think that's really
That's good. What Emily was saying about how like not having to talk to other people about things and stuff and like knowing God is there. That reminds me of the verse Psalms 31:15. It says, "My times are in your hands." So it's just like such a simple verse, but it means so
Mhm.
much because it's like
yeah.
all the timing is all in His hands, and like you can just lay it down, and He'll give you so much peace in that. So.
Yeah. Jesse was helping us like brainstorm, right? And he reminded Lucas and I of when Noah was preaching. I think it was when Noah and Haley were preaching. He said God says yes, no, and wait. So
Yeah.
like I just thought that was like super like powerful to remember. It's like because it's really hard to just like sit there and wait on things and just to be like
Definitely.
waiting seasons are really hard
really
and
challenges your patience.
yeah, and it's you have to have a lot of grace with yourself and with everything when you're in a waiting season that feels never ending. And just I feel like I've like coming out of a waiting season is like I said earlier, it's just like being delivered from all the grief and the pain and everything at like the time that I was and like the opportunities that I've had now is like I wouldn't change it because I know that it would get me here.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
as hard as like all the stuff that I went through and all the pain and stuff that I went through, like the Lord delivered me from it and I'm doing really good now and it's like all in His time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about like giving like yourself grace and others grace, I feel like
Yeah.
it's also important to realize that sometimes it's even hard to like give grace to God. Like when you're going through those hard, dry waiting seasons, whatever you want to call them, like it's so hard to give grace to Him because you're like, God, why are you doing anything in my life? Why aren't you fixing this? But like we're talking about God's timing. It's always
Yeah.
meaningful. Like he's a meaningful God, and He's truthful and honest. Yeah. He's amazing. Amen.
amen. Preach.
And also, with you said giving grace to God, also giving grace in yourself if you're struggling in like the waiting periods and times, because like it's such a human thing to want to take things into your own hands, and like it's kind of like an instinct to be like, well, we're really impatient and whatever, you know. So you just take it into your own hands and not account for like what God has planned, and He wants you to be patient and just like knowing that He's there and He sees everything that's going on, and He does have a plan and He does have a time for these things. So to give grace to yourself if you're feeling like you took something into your own hands that was really meant for God's hands is something that like I feel like I struggle with. I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. So giving grace to yourself if you find yourself doing that too and praying about it is good.
This reminded me of this verse Psalm 13:5-6 says, "But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for He has been good to me." It's like being able to like see the goodness. That's what that reminded me.
That's good.
I love that verse.
What has been like something that's like you're learning to trust in His timing was like been a really big problem, or not problem, but like a big mountain of time for you. Hardship, yeah.
I would say stuff about college. I'm currently in college, back for break and stuff, and first semester just ended. And I feel like I had this idea of what college was going to be like and like what was going to happen, the people I was going to meet and everything, and it's just completely not at all what I had planned in my head. And so that's been a struggle, and I even was like so down in the dumps. I was like, I'm going to come home after this semester and just switch online after this semester and like not give it any more time and stuff. And I like really felt that on my heart. And then I was like, well, maybe I need to stay and like see where things are. So I was like in this turmoil in my head, like going back and forth, like, do I come home or do I stay for this next semester? What do I do? And so I was just praying about it, and I was like, God, like it's in your hands. Like whatever happens, happens. So this one day, like literally like 2 weeks before the semester ended, I was like, I have to figure this out. Went to my counselor, and this was when I was gonna figure out if I was able to transfer online and like still keep my housing there and like go back and forth or something, like any possibility that I could do. So I went to my counselor and I was like, hey, like is it too late for me to transfer online, or like what do I do or whatever? And she told me that I have to have like 2 classes in person to stay there and have my housing, whatever. Just complicated, but it ended up I can't go home this semester. And like before this appointment, I was like, God, like whatever you have, and like I will accept it. Even though in my heart I was like, I really want to come home, like I really hope it's to come home. But it's like obviously He's having me stay there for a reason, and I literally talked to Him about it like praying to him, like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I know you have a plan. I know you have a time for when I'm supposed to come home or stay here. Like, my whole future is up to him. And so he gave me the answer right then, basically, that I'm going to be staying this next semester. And so it's like, I don't know, I was really struggling for a while, like, why would he have me stay for this next semester, and even why did he even bring me here in the first place? But it's like, it's all in his timing, and he's going to show new things to me in this next semester, so I'm just looking forward to why he's having me stay here in this time of waiting and just figuring out what is going on, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I think it's hard to like let go of your own plans
Yeah.
because like obviously you have like this built up idea of like what you want your life to look like, what you want your future to look like, and it may not align with what God has in store for
Yeah.
you. So it's really hard to like let go of the plans that you had and shift into like this is what God has planned for
yeah,
me.
exactly. And that was kind of an example of what Jesse said.
Mhm.
Wait, Noah said, yes,
Yeah.
no, maybe. Or wait, I mean. But anyways, that was like him saying like no to me, like no, like you're not taking your own way on this and just moving home, but you're gonna stay and wait this out and see what happens with me. So that's just an example,
I'm really excited to see what the Lord does for you like in this
Thanks.
next semester.
and it may not be something big, you know.
It may could just be like a friend, like one friendship too, like Haley
Yeah,
was saying.
or literally just the experience of being there and
Yeah.
having faith in God during a season. So literally, I don't know, I'm grateful for it in a way, even though I'm like kind of upset. I'm grateful to see why and like to be able to have faith in like the waiting seasons and like all the questions that I'm asking and stuff. So
I feel like it can be hard to have like hope during those situations, but one thing that
yeah,
the Lord pushes us to do is like have hope in Him and have hope in the future, because
Mhm.
only good can come from Him.
and He literally knows. Like it's
Mhm.
crazy that He literally knows everything that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no point in having anxiety or to worry about it, even though that's such a human instinct. Like
Yeah.
He literally knows. Like He knows. So it's just like I don't know. There's so
Yeah.
much peace in that.
I'm really glad that He like brought you peace over that, because if like God doesn't, he doesn't cause like there's nothing that's not peace from Him. He doesn't cause like worry or anything.
Or chaos.
Like He may put you in uncomfortable situations,
Yeah.
but He knows it's for your own good.
Building resilience and stuff like that.
Emily, what about you?
What were we talking about?
Like
Sorry, I was listening to Ryan.
like what's something that like that you're currently learning and like trying to help you like
With God's
with His
timing.
trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't know. I've been like trying to do things on my own a lot recently, and it's like I don't know why, and it's just like hard because I know that I shouldn't be, but like when I want something, it's like I like want it badly, so I can't like.
You want it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a right now situation.
Yeah, that's hard.
That is hard. Yeah.
Like it's hard when I don't know what to say. Never mind. I don't even know what to say. What about like when has trusting in the Lord's timing like paid off for you guys recently? Like obviously you just went on a whole rant about it, which was
Yeah.
amazing. But
I feel like trusting in the Lord's timing. I would say like financially, which is something kind of interesting to talk about, but like I don't know. It's kind of like personal, but like trusting in the Lord like financially and with all aspects of your life, like He's gonna provide
yeah.
Yeah.
and He knows what He's doing. So it's like you just need pure trust that He's gonna provide and He's gonna show up, and He will. Like He's not gonna just leave you in the dumps.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Can I bring up a verse?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Been saying, Sylvia's been saying, Jesse at church on Sunday said, peace is not found in the absence of our problems, but in the presence of Jesus and His glory. And I think that's really great because, like, for me right now personally with school and everything like that that's going on that I just talked about, like, it's not, His peace isn't found in the absence of problems. Like, there's so many problems that I could go on rants about, like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like this. But it's like, it's not, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be things that you don't like or you're asking
Mhm.
questions why. Like, you want to take matter into your own hands. But it's found, like, peace is found in the presence of God when He is with you and you realize that He's there holding your hand through these things. But you're always going to have, like, obstacles and stuff in your life. So,
Mhm.
I know, it's really good.
For me, I feel like holidays are really hard for my family, and like being able to see everyone. And about like a month ago, I thought I wasn't gonna see like any of my brothers or anything because they live like 4 or 5 hours away, and they weren't gonna come down because Christmas was like in the middle of the week this year. And like I wasn't really trusting in God's timing, and I was like, but I want to be able to see them, but then other parts of me, I'm like, I don't want to make that travel up there, but like the Lord opened a way for me to go see them, so I'm really excited about that. But that's definitely, the Lord's timing has paid off for that when I didn't expect it to. Little, but it's also big. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think something really fast to talk about is like, I feel like this can kind of be taken the wrong way, like this whole like God's timing stuff, because I feel like some people may have like an idea in their head of like, I want this, but I just need to be patient for it and wait, and God will provide it. But it's not always that, and that brings us back to the like yes, no, and wait, because like He could very well say no to you for that thing because He has something else in store. So if that's like happens to you, where you're like, oh, God's gonna provide this certain thing or this friend or relationship, anything, and then it doesn't happen, like I don't want like you to lose hope in the Lord, because He has something else so much better for you that you just can't see right now, but you have to wait for His timing to bring it to you.
Yeah.
So like, I would say just like don't give up on God if He doesn't answer your prayer.
Like changing your mindset from Him saying no, but Him saying like, not right now. I have something way better for you in the future.
Yeah.
But I think that's something good to end on. Heck yeah. Thanks for listening. And I hope
Come
you have
back
a great
next
week.
time.
Bye, guys.